I'm Bryan Wempen, and this is my co-host today.
Hi everyone, this is Nisha, and as Bryan said, I'm also co-host at DriveThruHR, and we are doing a live stream show at SHRM Annual 2013 at HRCI Hideaway, and the show is hosting by Human Resource Certificate Institution. And so hit the hashtag DTHR and SHRM 30 to get all the updates of SHRM Annual Conference and our live stream show. So without further ado, let's talk to our guest. We have Bennie Johnson with us. Hey Bennie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
So would you please introduce a little bit about yourself so that our audience can know a little bit about you?
Okay. I'm Bennie Johnson. I'm the head of marketing and global development for the HR Certification Institute. And we're here at SHRM 13 in Chicago, SHRM's annual conference, and we have our HRCI Hideaway. We have over 125,000 certificants all over the world, representing more than 100 countries. And we have about 7,000 of them who are here with us this week.
That's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah, fantastic. So, and I'm going to remember to be loud because we're not on radio, so we're gonna project. So so Bennie, there's Legos everywhere, and everybody can see I'm messing with stuff, and people are like, "What is he doing?" So there's Legos everywhere. So we got this stuff. It looks awesome. It's fun. There's like the biggest Lego I've ever seen. What is up with the Legos? Tell us about it.
First of all, Lego is a phenomenal company, but this really goes back to the idea of play. That play is at the heart of learning, at the heart of innovation, and at the heart of business success. And at the Institute, we've been researching and spending time with our certificates all over the world. We have 97% of the Fortune 500 has HR certificates working, managing, and leading their HR efforts. And we started about a year ago. We wanted to look for companies that really were leading the way. And Lego is a great company. It's a great example where the vast majority of their HR professionals are certified, actively leading and managing. And we spent the last year with the HR team at Lego talking about how they use play to drive their business. Lego is one of the most reputable companies in North America, and it's had the same title for the last 10 years in the globe. It's an iconic brand. Play is at the heart. When you enter into the Lego headquarters, one of the first things you're struck by is a model that they've lived by since the start of their company, that only the best is good enough. And for HR Certification Institute, we live that model as well. So we thought this would be a great idea to bring people together to spend time playing with Lego as a way to open up their ideas, open up their minds and learning about how HR can impact business in the world.
Wow, this is really cool, Bryan and Bennie, because this gives up an opportunity to network, because the attendees, they're able to network and then have fun at the same time. So how did you come up with this Lego theme? Because I read everywhere, in the magazines, in the banner, and everywhere this Lego funny person. So how did you come up with this theme, which is really innovative in terms of embracing that kind of a networking opportunity?
The theme actually came together sitting in the Lego U.S. corporate headquarters cafeteria. I was having a conversation with the community development manager, and we were talking about the passion that people felt for HR and comparing it to the passion that Lego's customers, both young and old, feel about Lego. And we started looking at the Lego minifigures. We were actually playing with it over lunch. And we brought up the idea was, how would you describe yourself as an HR person? If you could take Lego and create your own space, how would you describe yourself? And that was the genesis for this idea. We said, what better way to bring pay to life than to be here at SHRM Annual Conference at our HRCI Hideaway, which is our largest event of the year, and open up the floodgates and provide Lego figures for all of our HR certificates to come in and really create their own little persona. So whether you're a pirate, whether you're an astronaut, whether you're a business person with long hair or short, you can build your own Lego minifigure, take a pic, and post it, tweet it, share it, and like it with your friends. Our goal today is to have a little fun and build the largest mini certified community of HR professionals on the web.
Yeah, so I think we are missing one more hashtag. Hashtag MyLegoHR and hashtag HRCI Hideaway, right?
Correct. And one more to add to that for this event, hashtag SHRM13.
Wow, yeah, that's cool.
So this is the take on this, which is interesting, is it's kind of gamification, and that was actually kind of the theme of this of this quarter's magazine.
Right.
And so this is such a cool, because gamification is definitely one of the hot terms out technology-wise. Pretty much in the social space and the performance space. So, kind of how do you tie like your form of gamification? How do you tie the whole story together?
Well, it goes back to our first point, that play is at the heart of learning, innovation, and work. What we did for our issue of Certified, which Bryan is referencing, and actually brought a copy of us for us to see, the latest issue of Certified, which you can see Lego as the cover story. We also spend time talking to companies like Kaiser Permanente, Hershey's, Crayola, and the Chicago Cubs. And we're talking about ways in which they're able to use play in process, in talent management, as a part of gamification. We've talked to military concerns and how they've done interactive games to help companies and organizations. You take Lego, which is a manufacturing company, in effect. It's a play company. And they're using dynamic ways to learn in the same way that technology companies in Silicon Valley do. And we spent some time in Silicon Valley working with many startups, some that you've heard of and some that you'll hear of tomorrow, and looking at how they are able to empower their workforce to better success and to deeper relationships through play and innovation.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting session, and I would highly appreciate that SHRM is doing this kind of an initiative to encourage that kind of work and play atmosphere in the corporation and in the organization. So what's your thoughts on creating a work environment where, relaxed and a little fun, and so that it can innovate, it can encourage innovation. So there won't be any stress. People can go ahead and innovate, and they can concentrate and focus on their work. So what's your thoughts on encouraging that fun atmosphere in a corporate world?
What we've seen, my team and I has had the unique pleasure of spending the last year and a half meeting with companies all over the world and getting a chance to see some of the best work environments and how teams perform. And we haven't found that there's a one-size solution that fits all, and nor would you look for that. But what we have seen is that those companies and those organizations that are doing really well are finding the ways to connect with their employees, finding the way to get them back to that spirit and spark that you had when you were a child. How do you innovate? How do you move faster? How do you take the process and procedures that you've known and grown to, but then to take them and move them to the next level? As you've seen the pace of disruption in all of our environments and industries, most companies are dealing with that. And the ones that we see success in, their HR professionals find ways to really spark that innovation in their staff and their employees. For us, we've been building this community of certified HR professionals. In order to become certified, you have to have a commitment to the field. You have to demonstrate knowledge by success on the exam. And then you have to have a commitment to continued growth and development. And that continued growth, that's at the heart of play. And with our 125,000 certificates, we've created a space in which they can connect with each other.
It's actually part of the culture, right, Bryan?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I think a week or two ago on the show, and I had heard this several times from different people, is the fact that culture is intentional.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, if you're the bottom 100, if you're the worst place to work, or if you're the top 100 best place to work, that's purposeful and it's complete intention.
Right.
And so whether you own it or not is a whole other show. But
Totally.
I think if you consistently go to the top 100 most engaged workplaces, best places to work, pretty much, maybe even the most profitable, I don't know, but the ones that I've been around, when it's a fun atmosphere, when you can walk through and you can take the litmus test of do you hear laughter?
Right.
And do you hear people actually interacting and messing around and everything? Most productive, most engaged, and typically most profitable.
Right.
And so...
And what we've seen is that it's really about creating that authentic cultural experience and fun. So not just putting a foosball table in the center and having an environment where people feel, that they can't take risks and take challenge and explore new ideas, but really having a culture that works for your organization, in which learning and fun can be a part of it. That's something that we've seen, and we've seen successful companies. There's direct research and data that shows that companies that have engaged employees are more likely to have, stronger business results. Lego's a great example. They've had a tremendous, as a private concern, they've had a tremendous financial growth rate over the last 10 years. And it's directly attributed to the culture that they've established, their commitment to their customers, their commitment to their work, and their employees.
Yeah, and I to add with that, I would like to get your thoughts on, what's your advice to those leaders to encourage this fun atmosphere in an organization, not just to copy any kind of a culture from other organization, because that's not going to work. Right. Because it should be authentic, it should be suitable to your work culture. So what's your thoughts, or what's your best advice to those leaders to have their own authentic culture?
I think that play and the magic that comes from it happens when you open yourself up, when your organization and your teams open themselves up to the opportunity. There is a sense of inherent risk that comes with that, but that's where the reward comes into. We've seen in our conversations with certified HR professionals that those who are willing to take the risk and empower their employees, to look at their businesses differently, those are the ones who see the most benefit and success. They're also the spaces where their employees will highly tout them as a great place to work, a great place that's growing professionals, a great place to be and move in your career.
That's really cool.
When you think about, especially like Legos, from kind of a brand advocacy perspective, I cannot think of another Lego. I think of other toys that are Lego-like. Right. You talk about a brand that just permeates the thought of building and young and old being able to come together. All of that. Legos just is really, really, really just encapsulates that.
It's an incredible story, an incredible organization. They are iconic. The brick and the minifigure are iconic, but they span generations.
Right.
So if you look in Europe, there are families in which Lego toys are passed down from grandparent to child to grandchild. That this becomes a part of your experience, becomes a part of your growth and development. We couldn't think of a better organization to feature on the cover of Certified on the issue of play than Lego. It really stands for everything we've talked about. The trust and the quality that comes with legacy, with the renewal of innovation.
Yeah, well, that's actually part of employer branding as well. It's really about what you want to be known for, right? Yeah. So, Bennie, thank you so much for joining with us. And I know you have a lot of things going on out there, and we heard a lot of screams from outside also.
Great.
So it's a pleasure for joining with us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for joining us at the Hideaway. We're about to open up, so we're going to let you go.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Bennie.
Yeah. So we have one more guest with us, and without further ado, let me introduce Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much, Nisha and Bryan, for having me on your show. It's my first radio show, so I'm super excited today. So it's great.
Oh, we are also pretty much excited, and thank you so much for joining with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about, we are in HRCI Hideaway right now, and HRCI Human Resource Certificate Institute is actually the core for SHRM and all the HR professionals, because we wanted to get certified, So what is this certification is all about? Can you please tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So certification it's actually more of a journey if you think about it. There's a lot of different components to it. So we, as the Certification Institute, we reach out and we have components all over the place. So we have individuals who are looking to become certified. We have individuals who are already certified and have to maintain their credential through recertification efforts and things like that. And then our organization also goes through and we do pre-approval processes for programs, so that way individuals have this avenue to go through and earn recertification type credits. So really, when you think about it, our organization reaches so many different types of audiences and professionals and organizations. It's actually really compelling and it's very dynamic. So it's really, really cool.
Stephanie, real quick, let me do a reset. Everybody, you're watching and listening to DriveThruHR. Bryan and Nisha are on with Stephanie Runyan, who is the who has probably one of the most kind of unique takes on from an HRCI perspective, and just being able to tell us kind of the intersections or around the conversation of certification, because in actually having the privilege of dealing with HRCI and being part of the family for the last couple years and working with you a little bit, is you not only get exposed to the content of what's being presented, but you also get to be exposed to the companies that are presenting it, and the consultants and the people that are actually presenting the material to the people trying to get certified, but also helping with what certification looks like in that process and the people getting certified. Plus, I think you have your certification, which is...
I have the PHR, which is the Professional in Human Resources. So I got that in January of 2009. So I've been a proud member and credential holder since then. So, and my own personal journey with it was, just like everybody else that I meet on the road, it's individuals who have either been in the industry for a long time, or they're fresh into the industry and they're looking for a really good way to get ahead, not only in their own organization, but also just for their own personal development and, motivation and all those different kinds of things. So I went through and I got mine in, like I mentioned before, in January of 2009, and I was an HR generalist back then, practicing for an engineering firm in Alexandria, Virginia. So it was a great booster for me. I came back and my company was very excited, and I could really contribute to a lot of different other components of our company. Whereas before I was more hesitant to sort of do those things because I wasn't as confident with what I knew. But having the credential really was a booster for me. And then I ended up coming over and actually working for the Certification Institute. So I've been able to turn my passion for earning my credential and really help to coach people through the process, to encourage them to go through and to take the certification, and get over their test taking jitters. And then once they've done that, go through and to recertify their credential every 3 years. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, Stephanie, what's it like to be a PHR, or what's it like to be a PHR, SPHR, or GPHR? Because there are a lot of people who are trying to get their certification, and there are a lot of people who may not be, thinking about getting certified. So what's your advice, or what's your experience, or what do you want to say to our audience to, about what's it like to get certified?
Well, it's if you think about it, it's sort of like a journey. You're going to decide which exam you want to be sitting for and what's most appropriate for your career level and what you're doing currently in human resources. So in my own experience, I went through, and the PHR was the most realistic option for me because I was an HR generalist, had my hands in 50 different pots within the HR department that we had. So, you go through and you decide which credential that you want to do. You need to meet our eligibility requirements, which is also a requirement to get through and to sit through the actual exam. And then you start preparing, and everyone's learning style is a lot different. You can either go to a college class, you can self-study on your own. There's a number of different ways that you can prepare. Again, it's not a one-size-fits-all type of process. People spend anywhere from 3 months to a year getting ready for the exam. And then, you have to mitigate your test-taking jitters because everyone gets very nervous with taking exams.
Fair enough.
Any kind of test. So then you go through, you take the exam, and you're going to be successful on your first attempt. A lot of individuals just go into the exam thinking, they're very nervous, and that can sort of psych you out a little bit. So you get the credential, and then you go back, you're very excited, your company's going to be super excited for you, or if you're sort of at a crossroads in your career, it's a great jumping off point to help you either look for a new job or get that promotion you've been eyeing for so long within your own company, and it just goes from there. It sort of takes on a life of its own at that point.
Well, and it's and we've heard lots of PHRs, lots of SPHRs, definitely know some GPHRs. I actually have a friend for several years who has all the certifications, which is that's just like a wheels off thought process. But that's part of what she values as far as being a practitioner. Is I just want to be able to prove to myself and have the credentials for everything. But it's a very common theme that this is a hard exam. This isn't a, literally like I'm just going to cover it for a week or two, roll in, and I'm just going to be able to blow it out. The body of knowledge is extensive. And so kind of walk through maybe you're the one person that can do a week worth of prep and roll into
Right.
it. And share if you are. It's no judging. It's all good. That's actually really impressive if you can do that. But kind of walk through what your part of the journey was to actually prep to take the PHR. Because I know a lot of people, to your point, have anxiety over the fact that how much time is it going to take? Can I commit the time? I haven't taken a test in a long time. Maybe I'm not a great test taker. So let's actually walk through the mechanics of you prepping and what the actual exam kind of is about.
Absolutely. So when I went through and was starting to do the overall prep component, so one of the first things I did was went out to our company's website, HRCI.org, and checked out our bodies of knowledge. So for the PHR and the SPHR, those two exams share the same body of knowledge. So it's 6 different functional areas, and it really is, it's a generalist type exam in scope because it covers so many different things. It's everything from business management and strategy all the way down to risk management strategies, it's union negotiation, it's covering everything. So, we're not expecting every single individual that's going to be sitting for this exam to be well versed in every single area, because that is, as you mentioned before, incredible if you already are coming in with that knowledge. Yeah. But when you're going through, you're learning about all the different functions of HR, so that way you can be more of a strategic contributor to your organization to really help out with other areas of your company. So, like I said, I went out to our website, reviewed the different functional areas, saw immediately that there were areas where I was going to have to focus a lot of my time on because I wasn't experienced there. So specifically with risk management stuff and with employee and labor relations, that's another functional area.
Right.
Just because our company at the time that I worked for, we didn't have any kind of union interaction, so I knew that was going to be an area that I was going to need to focus on and really, shift my study plan a little bit better. So you look at all the different areas that you're going to be covering, and you determine what areas you're weak in versus what areas that you're strong in. And our company also has a couple of free different sort of test your knowledge quizzes. And so that's also a really great way to sort of see how the questions are structured and see what how to begin to prepare to, like you said, going back to taking a test if you haven't been in a testing environment for a number of years. Going back, it's a full multiple choice exam. There's not like a part where you have to write an essay or anything like that. And so it's sort of reintroducing yourself to how an exam and a test that's multiple choice factor test works. And if you're not successful on a couple of the questions that you're looking at, it's not a big deal. It goes back through and it gives you the reasoning behind it and really explains it out to you. So it's really sort of it's a learning tool for you to help sort of figure out where you need to be doing, what you need to be focusing on. And as far as the rest of the prep that I did personally, I went through and I actually utilized the SHRM learning system. Again, that's sort of a comprehensive set of textbooks. There's a ton of different products that are out there, but my own boss at the time had gone through, she used the same thing, and she said that was really helpful for her, so I ended up sharing her set of books. So it's sort of like a bonding, mentoring type experience, and really went through and studied all the material, and there were different types of pre-tests you could take throughout that course of that study module and habit thing. And then my boss, because she had recently also to become SPHR certified, she would quiz me nonstop, relentlessly. Couldn't go to lunch until I answered, HR questions correctly, things like that.
Good boss.
Yeah.
Good boss.
So, and again, it went through. I spent about 6 months getting ready, just because it's a busy time at work. We had our open enrollment towards the end of the year, so I knew that I needed to plan it, my test time within the 2 windows that are available strategically, so that I had the most time to maximize my study plan and all those things. And then, went in there, do all your regular, normal routines that you would do anyway. So you can pick your testing time. There's, morning times, there's afternoon times. You get to pick your day of the week. So if you're more of a morning person, then you should probably take the morning time slot. You're going to be more fresh then. It's more on par with how you operate as a normal individual anyway. I drink caffeine, so I made sure that I had my caffeine fixed that morning. So all the things that you would normally do. And then just went through and knocked it out, and it was great.
That's cool. Well, talking about certification, I have one more point. Yeah, got certified. Now we got to keep it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we have a lot of conferences, sessions out there, which is providing credit hours for all these sessions. So what's your take or what's your advice to those PHR or SPHR or GPHR certified professionals to keep that certified degree in hand?
Absolutely. Well, there's a number of different ways that you can actually recertify your credential. There's not just one specific way, or you don't have to necessarily spend a ton of money in trying to maintain it and to keep it up to date. We know that finances can be tight in organizations, and they might want you to stay in-house versus go out-of-house for training and different things like that. So you can get recertified in a number of different areas. There's almost, it really depends on, again, how you are as a learner, what you need to be exposed to, because maintaining your certification and keeping it up, it also helps you stay up to date in human resources in general, because it's all the HR function is extremely dynamic. It's always changing. There's always new laws coming out that you as a professional that's a spokesperson for your company, you need to be up to date on. So you can do it through continuing education activities, which is things like conferences like this, or college programs that are HR specific, different things like that. You can go through and do instruction, so things that maybe you teach at a university part-time, or maybe you teach courses in your own organization, like let's say you teach your managers on interview techniques and things like that. Those would be things that you could potentially put on your application to recertify. You can list out your on-the-job experiences, so things that you're doing for the first time in your job. Let's say you're putting together a brand new benefits plan for the first time, or helping with the strategic plan of your company for the first time. Those are things that you can capture and put on your application. You can get credit for things under the research and publishing category. So if you're a writer and you are contributing to a major national-wide publication, you can get credit for that. If you are doing leadership activities outside of your organization, you can get credit for that. So let's say you're serving on as a committee member, or you have a position on a board where you're contributing your HR experience. That's a great way to also earn credit hours. And then finally, if you're also a member of a professional HR-related organization, you can earn credit for that for each year that you're a member. So again, the recertification process is a way to help you stay engaged. It's really not only with your own organization, but also through, as I mentioned before, just keeping up to date with the industry, how it's changing.
Sure. And
then also it's really helping you to network with other individuals who are also certified, because they're going through the same boat that you are. So.
Oh, for sure. So tell us how big is the HRCI universe?
Let's see, our universe is actually pretty big. So as Bennie had mentioned before when he was here, there are more than 125,000 individuals who are certified currently in over 102 countries at this point, if I'm not correct. And then we have, on the provider front, we have about a combined total of between 1,500 and 2,000 providers of learning activities. So it's a really dynamic community. And we have our domestic credentials here in the U.S., the PHR, the SPHR, the GPHR, and the California credential. We've also just this year launched our new sort of international component of our portfolio, which is the new HRBP and the new HRMP, which is it's our new credentials for individuals who live and work outside of the U.S. in human resources. So we're really reaching out to this sort of international community and really trying to bring HR into a more like a global platform.
Well, that is fantastic. I know over the last, I've been in the HR space a long time. But I've actually seen the last 5 years, it has been amazing at all the different initiatives, and just really progressively trying to stay on the innovation side, because you got to keep up with new mediums. You got to keep up with mobile. How do people learn? How do people have the conversation? What does that look like? The content, just all of that. I've seen a huge progression of that, and it's been absolutely fantastic to be a part of that. So we've got about a minute left. So what are the hashtags that people need to be hitting on?
Oh yeah. Hit the hashtag SHRM13, that is SHRM13, 13. And we have our HRCI Hideaway hashtag, that is hashtag HRCI Hideaway. And then, of course, hashtag DTHR. And a lot of people are hashtagging their Lego HR, like this cute little man. So that is so funny, but then it's just not funny content. They are really texting, they are really tweeting all the conference updates and the conference sessions, so all the meaningful information. So follow that too, hashtag MyLegoHR. So that's it.
I think that's it. So, and we've just got a few seconds left, and I want to say that we're actually doing a benefit kickball event tonight
Yeah.
that you can follow the stream through SHRM 13, and it's for supporting No Kids Hungry. So it's a great event. Stephanie, thank you so much for being
Absolutely.
on with us. Benny obviously is doing his thing, and Nisha, as usual, great job, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back on Tuesday. Follow the hashtag, and I think we are done for today.
Thank you.